From the far reaches of space to the darkest places on Earth, join us as we explore the haunted, the cryptid, the creepy, and more. Exposing Reality Radio presents the Spectral Wolfpack Show, your paranormal nightmare, with your host, Alexander Bobolinsky.
What's up, Wolfpack? We are live on this beautiful Wednesday night. I don't know if anyone saw, but we had a big announcement today. Our documentary, Madhouse, will be out on April 20th, 2019. So everyone stay tuned. If you haven't liked the Facebook page already, that'll be the place where we make most of the announcements about that. So definitely stay tuned to hear more about that. Where we will be releasing it. It will not be on YouTube, so definitely keep an ear out and an eye out for that, because this is going to be an awesome documentary that Keith of Wake Paranormal has been editing, and he does some really amazing work. So I'm excited to show you guys what we put together there, what all we captured as far as evidence and just everything. It's going to be awesome, and we'll be talking about it in the upcoming months leading up to it, as well as some trailers and things like that coming out. So yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. We have that, and then on February 9th, the Alabama Bigfoot and Paranormal Conference that I'll be speaking at. And then there's a few other little events and things coming on as well, so just stay tuned, keep up with me on Facebook and everything to see all that. So anyway, tonight we got our special guest, Chelsie Denee, is a psychic medium and empath, as well as a certified psychic investigator. She grew up in Northern California, and her psychic experiences, unfortunately, were not understood by her family, and often mistaken for a kid having an active imagination. At the age of 3, she had her first psychic prediction, and that's something that we'll be discussing tonight, so I'm not going to tell you guys the whole story right now. But as she grew up, she had many other psychic experiences. To mention a few, she would see and hear people from the dead, not knowing what it meant. She would have out-of-body experiences and nightmares of people she just did not recognize. All of this strange phenomenon puzzled Chelsie, but also made her very curious. In 2015, she would come to understand that she was a psychic medium and empath, and she now uses her abilities to help others. She does psychic readings, residential, business, paranormal investigations, and psychic investigations specializing in cold cases. She has a passion for helping both the living and deceased. Chelsie has a belief in the saying, "We never truly die, we just change worlds." So I'm going to bring Chelsie in right now, and let's hear some of her stories and experiences. Chelsie, what's up?
Hey.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm excited to learn more about some of this stuff that you do, because I've heard about psychics and things like that being used in these investigations, but I don't think I've really talked to too many people about that. So I'm excited to hear some of your stories and everything. Yeah, if you would, tell us a little bit about the things that were going on when you were a kid, like your prediction that started at 3, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I don't really remember too much. A lot of my childhood I kind of blocked out because it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But my grandma told me when I was 3, I started talking about my mom passing away and that my mom's going to die, and everybody kind of just brushed it off as I have, a crazy imagination. But she actually did. She was diagnosed with cancer, and I don't think she made it 12 months after being diagnosed, and she actually did die. I was 12. So that was kind of the start of it, and with me seeing things and premonitions, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And then about that age, at 12 to 13, I started talking about my grandpa getting sick, and I kept saying he needs to go to the doctor. I don't recall him like showing too many signs that stand out, but so he finally went to the doctor, and he found out he does have Parkinson's disease. So I kind of saw some things younger on that I didn't understand, as far as premonitions go.
Yeah, for sure. I bet. Because, I mean, when you're a kid, how would
what's
you...
that?
I was just saying, when you're a kid, how would you know that that's what's going on? I'm sure once you got older, you started figuring it out, but I'm very sorry about your mom, too.
Yeah, that whole experience, I never understood it, but, I understand it now, and I'm at peace with it now. People might say that's kind of morbid, but, I am, and one of the experiences I had with her, which is one that I kind of remember the most, was when she was in the hospital, when she actually died. I recall seeing her spirit lift up, and she was leaving the building, and I was running down the flight of stairs, because I think we're on the 3rd floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was running down the stairs, and I ran out the hospital doors, and I was following her, because I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand death at that time, but that's something that has always stuck to me, and what I remember of my mom, and, making sense of this whole paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Were there a lot of other... So you don't remember much, but is there any other, I guess what you would call like a paranormal experience or anything else not involving like premonitions or your family that you remember?
Yeah, I did a lot of, which I think I did more as a kid than I do now. At least now I don't remember. Mm. But as a kid, I remember a lot of out-of-body experiences, which I didn't know, again, at the time. That's what it was called. But I can recall, like, floating down streets, because I grew up in Napa, California. So I remember, like, floating down streets, and it's dark as heck, and, seeing different restaurants and different things, and I'm just, like, floating around the town, and, it happened many times. And also, I would have these, which I thought were nightmares as a kid, where people, I guess spirits, would present themselves kind of how they died. And I remember one spirit showing me in a dream where he, like, I think blew his head off. I'm not sure. I just remember his head looked really dysfunctional. I don't know, looked weird. It was bleeding a lot. And it was really scary. Like, I was always scared to sleep, because I never knew, these nightmares. I didn't know what they were or how to handle them.
Yeah.
But, now, of course, I can make sense of them. But when I was younger, I didn't know what the heck was going on, So,
I bet. Yeah.
So now when my kids have nightmares, I try to help them through it and see if it's a nightmare or if it's actually, spirits visiting or, needing help.
Yeah, exactly. And in the chat, Kim was bringing up that around that age of 3 seems to be an age that a lot of people start remembering or start having that activity around them and noticing things like that. I know that Brittany, my fiance, she's also has some definite strong abilities, and when she was a kid, there's stories her grandma tells us too about her saying certain things and knowing about the guy who died in the house and all kinds of...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that is. I think they're right, because even my daughter, Shaylin, she's going to be 12 now, but around that age, she would talk about angels. Like, Shaylin, go get your shoes on. Oh, I can't remember where they are. The angels moved my shoes. Wow. And she was dead serious. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was at the time. Even, she would always talk about angels, seeing angels, and blaming them for missing objects and stuff,
Wow.
So it's true.
That's awesome. Lately, we've been having stuff here go missing like crazy, and, I started to think it was maybe because I've been studying a lot about the Fae and the fairies lately, but I don't know. maybe it's the angels. I don't know. But stuff does go missing, and like then it'll show back up somewhere I looked, or
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Well, I definitely believe in fairies too. I can recall seeing them as a kid. Like I had a very traumatic, I guess, childhood.
Yeah.
So the fairies, I can remember seeing them in the garden, and I don't really recall, but they always made me feel comfortable and made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, my son who's going to be 6, he's autistic, and he talks about fairies and seeing them and stuff. So I really do believe that they're out there, even though our adult brains might, push them away because that sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe that, that they are out there. Maybe they don't look like Tinkerbell, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when I actually had an experience a couple years ago where I saw something in the woods that I just called the fairies, or, that it was like kind of like a will-o-wisp, like these weird lights, blue lights that were kind of hovering outside of our tent. But like you said, they made me feel like I felt really comfortable and like relaxed around them. It was weird. Like almost like I had this weird like euphoric sensation or something. But
yeah.
And I wasn't high or anything.
Yeah, no, I can't get high. I start really tripping.
Yeah, if you think about being high and being really sensitive, at, like especially at like a haunted location or something, like it, just imagine how.
Oh no, it fucks me up. Yeah.
How overwhelming that could be.
Yeah.
So, let's see what I was gonna. Oh yeah, someone in the chat, if this is okay to ask, they wanted to know how old you are now. Just I guess they wanted to know just from hearing some of the experiences.
Yeah, no.
Your whole life.
I'll be 32 in March.
Nice. I will be. I think I'm 28. I forget. I forget.
Yeah, after like you hit 25, it's like, what's the point in even remembering?
Yeah, like yesterday, me and Brittany were arguing about. I thought she was 30, but she's actually 31, and she thought she was 31. But we were just like, we like couldn't figure it out for some reason.
Yeah. No, I seriously have to use a calculator sometimes because I don't remember. So it's like, am I 31 or 32? But
so I wanted to ask, so about the out-of-body experiences, you said that's something you kind of have a harder time with nowadays, or are you still able to have those experiences?
Well, I don't know. It's been probably almost a year since I last recall having one, and I'll tell you, it scared the crap out of me. I actually thought like I was like the keeper of death or something because it scared me. And at this time when I had this experience, I was just getting into the paranormal. Like I just went on, maybe 2 investigations at that time, and so I was just learning. I mean, I'm still learning, but I was even fresh. And what happened was I was sleeping, and I felt like something land in my room. So picture like a big bird just landing in your room. You would kind of hear it,
Mm-hmm.
And it shook my bed. And I remember looking down and seeing me sleeping. So I was actually seeing myself. And I don't recall how much time was in between, but then I saw, standing kind of by my bedroom window, a dark figure, meaning dark like it was just nighttime. It was dark, not necessarily evil or anything. And it had huge, huge wings. Now, I'm not religious, so, I'm not saying it was probably an angel, but I just remember it having huge wings. And I was standing by my window. It was dark, and I can see it, and I can see myself sleeping. And I don't recall going back in my body. I don't remember any of that. All I remember is I can actually hear whatever this was take off. So you can imagine what a bird flapping its wings taking off sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And it shook my bed again, and I can hear it take off. And it made me not want to go to sleep for weeks after. I was so scared. And at the time, I was talking to a friend I had just met, and she was, helping me understand these things.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, sounds like an out-of-body experience. And I started, I didn't really know what that was. So that's when I started learning, because I was researching what it was. And I also checked, Google, to see if there was any earthquakes and stuff, because I felt my bed shake. Now, I don't think my husband felt it shake, because I remember asking him, and I don't think he did. But it was scary. I didn't understand it at all. But that was the last time I can recall, because I remember doing out-of-body experiences where, I'd be in different countries, and, like Egypt, walking on sand and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I will admit, I have to take ibuprofen PM.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little bit knocked out nowadays, just because it's better for me to get that extra help to sleep, or
I understand.
I'm up and down all night, and yeah. So, but yeah, that was like the last time I can recall one of those.
Wow. Yeah, the last time, there was a time, I think it was only a few months ago, but I was using like the binaural beats and stuff, and I was trying to sort of just have an out-of-body experience like while I was conscious. And I did manage to, managed to come out of my face, just like I started coming out, and then I lost concentration, or I gained my concentration back into the real time, or whatever happened, and I just completely lost it. But I remember when I was younger having some similar things. Also, yeah, the winged beings, always very fascinating to me. I'm a big fan of angels, Mothman, all kinds of different stuff. And we actually talked about Joe having a weird experience with a giant winged creature in Tennessee, I think last week's show. But interesting.
Yeah. It is very interesting, and it scared the shit out of me, though.
Yeah, I bet. I mean,
yeah,
those experiences always very intense when you have those brushes with whatever these things are that we see sometimes, and have, especially when you're asleep.
yeah.
Jen wanted to know, what age did you start to realize that these thoughts and things you were getting were premonitions?
Well, the older I got, the more, to be honest with you, it's only been about 2 years since I've been diving in, for lesser words, to, I use quotations, a medium, and sensitive and all that is.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I'm going on 32, so it was probably around 30 that I actually started understanding what premonitions are, what is, I heard mediums, but I never categorized myself with them, and I still don't. I don't know. I don't have that ego system, I guess. I don't know. That might be the wrong word. But, so it's probably about 30 until I really realized and understood what was going on. I would always see deceased people. Even when I met my husband now, one of the first times I spent the night at his house, at the time he was living with his mom, I said, "Oh, your grandpa's standing out there with an oxygen tank in a wheelchair by the pool." And they go, "What?"
Wow.
And, I'm like, yeah, he's, and I described what he looked like, and, he did pass away before I ever came into the family. But, it's just stuff like that just seemed normal to me, and I would always just vocalize it. And, of course, people are like, that's kind of weird, or, ew,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just always something that was normal to me. So, I I didn't know, like, what it was called as far as, putting myself as a label. But it's something that I've always dealt with my whole life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because actually lately, I've met several people. I was just talking to a girl last night who, I think she's around our age too, and she actually has just now started to put all this together, that she has these abilities. Do you think that that a lot more people have these abilities, or have abilities like this, that they don't realize it, or they just maybe shut them out, or what do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've done more, I think, residential cases than I have, like, just building places,
Mm-hmm.
And every case I've been to, they've always known spirit was there. They've always had these sensations, these weird feelings, and these knowings. But it's like I come in there and I validate those feelings for them. And they're like, oh, my God, I'm not crazy. And my family doesn't think I'm crazy anymore. But absolutely, I think we're all born with it. I mean, we're all, it just, like you said, some people just turn it off. And, for example, my uncle, I don't know how old he is. He's older than me. He's been helping me a lot, especially with the cold cases.
Mm-hmm.
And he is now tapping into his subconsciousness, and he's experiencing stuff. And he never would have thought he would unless he started, he got with me and we started talking, and, now he's learning. And he's learning how to tap into that. And he's, experiencing stuff himself. So I think, we can all do it. That's why I hate when, like other big psychics charge all this money and stuff. I'm like, it's bullshit. Because we all have it in us, It's just finding the right person to encourage you and to bring that side out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, too, like on investigations, I've noticed, trying out different people together, or different places might affect me differently. Like at, I mean, I've been to some locations that my like psychic mind was just popping off like crazy, and then others where it's not. I remember Eric had some really crazy psychic experiences at Post Town one night. He was seeing spirits and seeing train wreck victims and all kinds of stuff. That we're getting validation through the equipment and everything. So it was really an awesome experience. Kim had an interesting question. Let's see. She said she has never been able to draw, but she has been drawing and painting a lot for the last week. What do you think causes us to be able to do things we couldn't do before? I guess, like, do you think that could have anything to do with those abilities, or picking up on someone else, or?
I do. Again, going back to my uncle, I can't recall exactly what it was, but something kept telling him, or, I've had this happen too, to do something. And, I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything happens for a reason when they're supposed to. But he's had something similar to that happen, and I definitely believe that, whatever you want to call it, higher power, or I don't necessarily think everything's spirit guide, or guided by, a haunting in your house, or, that kind of thing, but I definitely feel that there is a purpose and meaning behind everything. So if that's something that she just started in a week, keep it up, because maybe not next week or 2 weeks from now, but a month from now, you might look back at this and something might happen. You'd be like, oh, shit, this makes sense now.
Yeah.
So I definitely think everything occurs for a reason,
Definitely. And the cool thing about art, too, is it's just a great way to express yourself, and, like, just, I mean, I need to start doing it again more myself, but... But yeah, that's awesome. And I agree.
Yeah, I need to do it too.
I agree about
I have like 100 journals, and I keep telling myself I need to sit down and write, but it's just, I really feel if things don't fall into place or happen, if you are feeling like you're forcing yourself to do something, don't.
Yeah.
Because it will happen when it's meant to happen, and it will flow so much easier. You know, I think that's just, you know, life. Everybody tries to force so much shit, and it's just like, take a breath and, you know, just let it flow naturally, and it will make so much more sense when it does.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, because I got to tell myself that a lot too. I'm the same way. I'll have you know, journals everywhere. I need to do something, but I'm not feeling it. So usually I will try to just switch my mode to something else until I. Sometimes it'll just, that spark will come and hit you, and you'll, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Like it just hits you like a wave, creative wave or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually me, it's cleaning. So it's like, oh, once I start cleaning, then, you know, stuff like a meditation kind of way comes towards me, and then I start, I don't know, is there something, you know, not every meditation you have to sit, you know, cross-eyed or cross-legged and, you know, listening to some kind of music.
Exactly.
You know, meditation can be anything, you know, walk in the woods, a hike, you know, cleaning for me.
Exactly.
You know, it can be anything.
Yeah, similar to like, you know, prayers or spells or like any kind of positive thing, you know, that intent.
Yeah.
And even like putting that intent behind cleaning could be considered a prayer or spell. All kinds of stuff like that. So I think that's awesome.
Exactly how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. Jen was wondering about becoming a certified psychic investigator. How? Tell us a little bit about the backstory about how that all came into play.
Yeah, and I'm glad that question's asked because, you know, I feel like I had to write that there because I am, like, those quotations again. I am certified. What happened is I started working on a missing person case. And actually, again, my uncle brought it to my attention because it's something locally happened here. And he goes, hey, you know, with your visions and seeing stuff, do you think that can work on missing persons? And I said, well, you know, I guess it could. At that time, I didn't know because I never tried. And, so I started, you know, we were at a restaurant, and he showed me the picture of a missing person, and I started getting stuff right away. And he goes, oh, this is great, you know, but it's like, what do you do with that information? Do you just sit there, or what do you do? And, hold on. So it's like, how do you present it to the police that you have this information of what happened to this person? Well, I shit you not. I don't know how this person got on my Facebook. I don't remember following him. But he was holding a class down in, like, Los Angeles, which is about 8 hours away from me, and holding a missing person full case class with LAPD, you know, like, lead investigator, like, investigators and stuff, and he was a psychic medium. So I was like, oh, man, this is a sign, because I don't even remember this guy. And so my family helped, because it was a very expensive class. My family helped, and at the time, I just had a baby. She was like, I don't know, 4 months old, 5 months old. So me, my husband, and the baby drove all the way to Los Angeles, and for this one-day class. And, you know, I was so excited about it because it's like, this is where I really feel I want to be, because my dream job is to work in FBI homicide. So I really was excited about this. And the class was, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours. And we mostly listened to the LAPD talk. And we took notes on, like, codes that they use. And, 30 minutes left of the class, the medium started talking. And he pretty much bragged about the case he's working on and that he needs help. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome, you know. I'll help, you know, because that's who I am. And we finished the class, got my little certificate, and haven't heard from the guy. I heard from him one time about a missing person that happened years ago, but we couldn't know the guy's name. Like, I felt like he was testing her without saying so, and that kind of made me mad because, be upfront with me. And so anyways, I don't know what ever happened, but it kind of hurt my feelings because we paid a lot of money for it, and I'm technically certified LAPD, signed off on it that I can do homicide investigations and stuff like that, but it's hard. It's not as easy as what people would think, mainly because it's a hit or miss with police officers, whoever's in charge of the case. If they think mediums are whack jobs, so it's not what I thought it would be, which is kind of a shame because I feel like people can really help. So, yeah, that's where the certification comes from.
Cool. And so, since then, have you, I'm not sure how much you can talk about with those kind of cases or anything, but have there been any local ones or anything like that that you've been asked to work on?
No, I haven't been asked to work on one. In fact, I'm still working on the same missing person case, and which I will say that I've made it, but information I did submit to the police, or the guy in charge of that particular case. I think I did give them lead evidence, which he was very surprised. He knew nothing of the other person involved and stuff. And actually, me and my uncle went to other location, which is about 4.5 hours away, which we believe we actually found a murder weapon or a weapon that could have been used, I should say. And we contacted, emailed that department, and they haven't heard back, or we haven't heard back from them, which is a shame. But I will say that the person who we feel killed, the missing person over here, he's actually a sheriff himself. So we're going against somebody that knows what they're doing they were to get rid of a body. So with that being said, we haven't had much luck, but we are continuously looking for him in hopes that we find any other piece of evidence, bones, clothing, anything. We have reached out to other, mediums, friends to help, and they have been very helpful, but we kind of get the same information I've already got. So the location that we're constantly at, we're digging holes. We're digging. Because for me, I can't just, it's not like the Beetlejuice sign where dig here, I'm here, whatever.
Exactly.
But, so we're doing a lot of groundwork within just him and I, so it takes a lot of time and stuff. So we're still working on it.
That's intense, though. That's awesome. It sounds, like a very interesting case, and I really hope that that you guys can figure out where this person is, because that would be incredible.
Yeah, and not just for me, but that mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody lost their son, and to me, that's the most important piece, is just helping that family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it would be a lot easier if the police were on our side, or I don't know, because like I said, the guy himself is a sheriff out in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going up against, a good, I don't know what the right word is, but a head-on show.
Definitely. So. And yeah, I could see that. I know, some people like that in law enforcement. I know that there are believers in law enforcement who are into this kind of stuff. But I could see there being a lot that either shut it out or just try to like laugh at it or something like stupid like that. But I mean,
yeah,
I've definitely heard of some other cases catching leads from mediums and everything too. So it's
yeah, I don't know if it's just like a California thing, because I swear like you and, other paranormal groups out towards you. I mean, you guys get buildings and, abandoned places and stuff. And in California, like, I don't know if it's just where I live, but people are, like, tight.
Wow.
Tight deals. We don't, there's Mare Island out here in Vallejo. It used to be, gosh, when I'm drawing a blank, like for, Air Force or I think ships and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I called because when my husband and I were looking at places to get married, we looked at a few places on that, base, and I ended up calling them and saying, hey, would you be interested in a paranormal investigation? Oh, we don't have ghosts here, she said. I'm like, what?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and she hung up on me, and, there was even an old opera house down in Napa. They, the people are just, I don't know, they're just different. That's why I say I've done more residential cases than I've actually done buildings, just because people are scared to believe in it, I think. I don't know.
Wow. And I think that's cool, though, because definitely some of my most interesting investigations have been some of the residential, like, cleansings I've done, and some of those cases are always very interesting. And but
mm-hmm.
I find it interesting, too. I mean, because I'm in Alabama, in the Bible Belt, but the more I talk to, like, locals and try to find these haunted locations and these old historic places and everything, I find that a lot of these people are pretty, like you said, they're just more open or something. They're like, it's weird. Like, you would think that it would be the other way around. But
no, they're just, I don't even know what to call it. People still, I don't know if it's just out here, if they just think what it is evil, or they're afraid that by having, investigators come there, it's going to
mm-hmm.
open something evil. I don't know, but it's definitely far and in between to actually get places that will let you come in and investigate. And, like, the places that do out here has been done so many times.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to that place anymore.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, some of my favorite spots are, like, little unknown local spots here in Alabama that, like, not many people have ever been to. And
yeah, that's the best kind.
Yeah. And I guess since California, I know there's history there and everything, but I guess it doesn't go back as far for the United States history as, like, some of the places, like the states over on this side. But
yeah, no, there's a little bit, but I think, to me, I grew up here. It's mostly about money, labels, and whoever can afford all the, materialistic shit. And for somebody like me, that's not even about that stuff. It makes it very hard to even just feel comfortable in your own state, your own town, because I'm not a materialistic person.
Yeah.
And, so I want to move. It's just trying to convince my husband to move too, because it's not worth it here. Sanity, money-wise, it's not worth it.
I've never been, but since you put it that way, like, I definitely couldn't see myself living there, because I'm the same way. I mean, it's just, and I can see what you mean, like, when like, scrolling through Instagram or something and seeing people that live, and nothing wrong with anyone who lives in California, of course, but I can just see that, like you said, materialistic side to it. And
yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
That's how it is, and it sucks because I don't want to be that way, or I'm not that way, and I don't want to raise my children to be that way. But
mm-hmm.
when, all of the population and society is pretty much about that, it makes it hard, to find your own, happiness, happy bubble and stuff here, because it's just so surrounded by that shit, and it's really unhealthy to me anyways, and depressing, because it's like, to me it's just an illusion. You don't have to have those fancy cars, fancy houses, and, all these name brand shoes. to me, it's just an illusion, and it's pointless to me anyway.
No, I understand. I'm the same way. Like, we shop at, like, usually go to the thrift store and everything to get our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't care about brand new stuff or anything. The only thing I'm materialistic about is, like, my equipment, but things that I actually use, like, almost every day for this kind of stuff. And, I guess that's a little different. Something you actually use or for work or, for whatever. But.
Yeah, no, it is. It's different. I love thrift stores and Walmart shopping.
Yeah.
I go into Target and I feel like I'm in a whole different, place because I'm like, holy crap, these prices, and it's just Target.
Yeah, it's like the same stuff.
Yeah, I leave Target with $100 or paid $100, and I have one little bag, and I'm always cautious of how am I spending because I have 6 kids, and we're very paycheck to paycheck people, and so I'm always watching the price tags. And I'm like, holy shit, this is $100 in one bag. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I understand.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask about. Some of the equipment that you use and like in your investigations that might help validate some of the things you're sensing or.
Well, my main tool is myself, and then I use how do you pronounce it? Olympus or something recorder.
Oh yeah, the Olympus.
Yeah.
I think it's Olympus.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's the one. That's pretty much my to-go-to. I do run, now that I have it, I use Dave Miller's, the radio, the Spirit, Spirit box that scans through the different stations. I've been using that, and I've had good turnout on that. And my husband bought me a tablet so I can download his other apps and actually use, because I've seen people get really good responses off of them. I do have a K2. I do have I call it a stripper pole, but it's a REM pod.
Nice.
Because it has the big antenna and the lights. It reminds me of a stripper club. But
yeah.
I do have one of those. And then the static, I think, what is it called, where the static things and the big ball. Oh, gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Trying to think.
It has like the little lights around it. It's not technically, people use it for paranormal, but, like my uncle was a stoner and he used it.
Like the little lightning? It's got like the little, not a Tesla coil, but something similar to that kind of?
Yeah, and you put your finger on it, and then like all the static goes to it.
Sure.
I did get one of those.
Yeah, I can't remember what those are called.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called either, and I always have one hell of a time because
Plasma
I think
ball.
mine's busted. Yes, plasma ball. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie.
In
the chat.
She's the one she's the one, we were doing a residential case, and she had brought it, and that was pretty much like the highlight of the whole night with, the different tools. I had sensors and stuff going, but we had good luck on that plasma ball she brought. The spirit actually touched it for a long time. And, we're trying to debunk it and stuff just to make sure.
Yeah.
So that made me want to go out and get one. But, yeah, that was pretty cool, though. But, no, I don't have much gadgets,
That's awesome, though. We were experimenting with the plasma ball a couple weeks ago, but we just had it kind of running in the background. It definitely just it's cool for setting the mood, too, just because the way it looks and everything. And yeah, to see something actually touch it like that would be amazing, because, like you said, how do you debunk that? Because, I'm trying to think, because I know that, when I touch it, there's a definite difference when it all comes to that one point.
we even, like, put our hand in front of it to, like, separate the ball and whatever touching it. And it went right back to touching it. So it was pretty cool. Like, you never know what gadget is going to work for that spirit. It's not, you can have any, you just don't know. And for me, though, the recorder and myself have been, number one. And then plus having, like my friend Debbie, who's in the chat room, help validate. We validate each other. Or my uncle. It's just good to have that other person to validate, hey, is this room feeling heavy? Are you feeling busy?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. But, I think we are our best tools. Regardless if you consider yourself a medium or whatever, you are your best tool,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can say, there's been, I always try to trust my intuition and everything. Like, there's been times something told me not to go in a place or something like that, and and I always try to follow that no matter what. Like, if I get that feeling,
yeah, definitely,
that instinct.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I wish I can go into abandoned buildings like you.
Sometimes
there's an abandoned house I just posted not too long ago that I really want to go into. Actually, I was with Debbie, and we took a picture, and you never know out here, like, if it's a freaking meth house or if somebody's going to come out with, a shotgun.
I understand. There's 2 abandoned houses right behind my house, but I haven't even gone in those, which they're literally right in my backyard, because of just how dangerous our neighborhood is sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I have gone into some dangerous places alone and everything, and it does. I guess I do it partially for the adrenaline rush, but
yeah, no, I don't blame you.
But at the same time,
that's what I like.
Investigating, but also documenting these places and the history, and documenting what they looked like. Some of the places I've been are demolished now, so it's like you can never go back. And luckily, I got video though.
Yeah, this last house that I posted with Debbie. We stood out there for a little bit and, ran the recorder to see if we got any EVPs, and we did. I'm just really hard on time, and I need to go through them so I can actually post them.
Yeah.
But, you can even just standing out there get something, but we were, we're 2 women in an abandoned place, and it was kind of like out in the country with a long driveway. We didn't know what's going to happen, and, as shitty as it is, being women, and doing that kind of stuff, I feel like we have to be more cautious.
Definitely.
In our surroundings and stuff. But, yeah, I see your places, I'm like, man, I tell my husband, well, this is why we need to move, because they go to all these cool places and abandoned places, and there's another guy following in the UK, and, man, he gets some stunning pictures of abandoned, like, places. I'm just like, damn, I'm so jealous, because to me, I don't care about anything, like, I don't know, evidence-wise, but just to step foot in an older house that has history and has that energy, from, 20, 30 years ago or longer, to me it's amazing. I would just love that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. There's been times in the last couple months even where I go in places without a camera just to experience it. And that's sometimes when the most intense or the best things happen, sadly. But, I want to catch the stuff, but also I do love just the experience alone. And, and
just filling it out. And
feeling
there's
some of
this
those.
one place in Oakland, it's called Cohen Bray House. And that was actually maybe the 3rd place I've ever investigated. And I love antique stuff. I love old stuff. The older, the better. And I stepped foot in this house, and it was like a time capsule. And I actually started tearing up because it was just so beautiful. Everything, and it wasn't like one of those fancy houses where, but it was just, like I said, stepping into a time capsule. Everything was original. Nothing has been touched. And it was just remarkable to see, what people lived back then and everything. It was so unreal. I just love it.
Definitely. I agree.
That's like my perfect date. Take me to an antique shop, take me somewhere old.
Yeah, me and Brittany do that all the time. Like, we love that too. And we actually live in a 116-year-old mining house. So, like...
Oh, wow.
Like, when we
That's
saw
awesome.
this place, we knew we had to live here. And we don't, we love old vintage and antique.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I had a question here.
I would definitely have more. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's never enough. I've got a little collection going myself. We try to get it when we can. Jen wanted to know, do you have any weird electrical stuff going on, or get buzzed from sockets or anything like that, or have lights pop out or anything?
I don't have lights pop out. However, every electric plug in my house, for some reason, I do feel like I get a rush of electricity or a buzz. And I've told my husband and other people, and they think I'm weird, but I can literally feel it. And I don't know if it's just my house, because the wiring is really messed up in here. And I'm not saying it like in a concerned way that I feel it, but even like I took my charger out of my bedroom to put by the computer, and just taking it out of the wall there, it's like I can feel it.
Interesting.
I've heard that sound, but yeah.
Yeah. One thing I've been noticing for a few years now is the streetlight interference, is what they call it, where you'll drive under streetlights and they'll either turn off or on.
Oh, really?
It's been something I notice almost daily, and so at this point I'm
wow.
it's not a coincidence. Like, and I've caught some of it on camera. I could catch more if I just spent all the time driving around at night with a camera pointed up at the streetlights. But
yeah.
But you should keep an eye out for that. I bet that happens. Like, it happens to a lot of people, and once they start looking for it, like, you'll start noticing it.
Yeah. And my house is just chaotic most of the time with 6 kids, but an off chance that I do, like, just be quiet and, in that silence and stuff, like, I can feel different things happening, and haven't had the lights go off yet, but I can definitely feel the electrical coming out. And before people start saying, you need to find, I'm not concerned about it. It's just I can feel it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Ian had a question. What do you think it means when a person gets what feels like a sudden electrical jolt in their body for no reason, or no apparent reason? Have you experienced that?
I have, and actually those are my favorite.
Yeah.
It's like, you get a rush, and I used to get a lot, like, out and when I'm, like, at a bar. This is before I knew any of this. So I'd be, like, at the bar, it'd be nighttime, and the air would be, like, perfect, and, just the atmosphere would be great, and I would just get, like, this bolt of energy. I'm like, whoa, what is that? It's just totally cool. I don't know if it's spirit-related or if it's just the atmosphere. I don't really know what it is, but I definitely have experienced that. And like I said, those are my favorite times, because just like you get that extra energy. But also I've been on investigations where my heart's just racing and I'm actually getting that, but it feels different to me. It feels not like anxiety. I don't know how to explain it. Just your heart's racing really, really fast, and you don't know what's going on. I have felt that in investigations also. And to me, when I get like that, I definitely know a spirit's around in that kind of situation. Also,
I can
to
relate.
me it feels different than like the bar. I don't know. It feels like two different kind of things to me, anyways. But yeah, I've been on investigations where I felt like that too.
Yeah, I notice when I do Ouija board sessions, I get this like weird anxiety feeling a lot for some reason. Like it'll just start coming on. I'm not sure if it's something they're causing it or if it's just me psychologically feeling it. I don't know, but definitely feel it during those sessions.
Yeah. So with those, I feel like it's more spirit related. You know, it's just kind of different. But I mean, like I said before, you yourself, if you think about it, you know what it's causing. You know what it's there. Don't second guess yourself. You know, if you think it's spirit, then it's most likely spirit. You know what I mean?
No, totally. You're right.
So.
Yeah, that goes back to just, you got to trust your gut. I mean, at least document it and say, like, I try to document a lot. So, if I start feeling something, I usually try to say, I'm feeling this. There was a couple times in one of our last investigations, I kept sensing someone was in, or something, or someone was in the room beside my friend, and then he would acknowledge it and be like, I just heard something in there. And I was like, dude, I was just feeling that something was in there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. No, and that's great that you have somebody to always, you know, to validate you. I think that's so important when you're doing stuff, even though I like being alone, but I really appreciate somebody else coming in and validating me. And with the cases, the residential cases I've done, that is so huge for the people that we go in, is validating their feelings and what they felt. And by doing that, it's like giving them power to be like, oh, I'm not crazy, you know, so they have that power that what they're feeling and stuff is accurate, so they can, you know, do what they wish. You know, if they don't want them there or they want them to stay or interact, you know, that's just, I think validation is huge, you know. For
sure. Yeah, and that's something I've been working on with my latest videos and everything, is like putting all this stuff together to show the validation, or, you know, to show what I think is trying to be said through the spirit box, or you know, what kind of message is trying to get across.
Yeah.
So Kim wanted to know, do people ever give you a hard time about having kids and being involved in paranormal investigations?
Yeah. Yeah. There's, you know, a few family members that think what I do is evil and that I shouldn't, you know, involve the kids. There was one lady down in Napa who was writing a book over, you know, haunted locations in Napa, and I had met with her, telling her all the experiences I've had as a kid in different locations, which she was so happy about. But then I had told her, I gave my daughter, who was probably, I don't know, between 9 and 10 at the time, I always mispronounce this, but a pendulum, you know, so she can talk to the angels and stuff that she was seeing, and give her guidance, because I feel education is key in anything. And she lectured me up and down how, oh, your kids are going to open the doorway and they're not ready for that. And I'm like, oh, bitch. Like, I was kind of caught off guard.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel, as any parent, I trust their judgment. So for her to kind of lecture me about that, and, you know, my daughter was so happy. She also got, like, a spirit guide, her animal spirit guide book. So every animal that she would always point out, you know, she can look in the book and find out the meaning. But, yeah, I've gotten, you know, not as much backlash, because I do educate my kids. I'm very open with them. Yeah. They know when Mommy goes to work that I'm going on an investigation. You know, they're aware of it, and I think that's important. I don't want to shut them down for what we all are trying to understand, because I feel like they're at the prime age where they can either shut it down or explore it. And I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, but I don't believe in evil. I believe that there's negative, there's positive, but I don't believe that there's so much evil out there that a lot of people do in the paranormal or in the regular world. I just don't. I believe there's more evil that lies within the human realm than there does the spiritual realm. And Again, that's my belief. I've talked to my kids about if they feel something they don't like or they see something they don't like, that they can tell them to go away. And they have. So, but I have, gotten some shit for it.
I understand. I mean, yeah, Kim said she has gotten some shit for it as well. And, but yeah, I think like you said, like, keeping them educated about it, because, I mean, it's very real to us, and like we've already talked about, when we were kids, we had experiences. What would have been different if we had been properly educated about it or knew about it at that point in time. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, just like if your child was being inappropriately touched or talked to, you would encourage them to come to you and talk to you, about stuff like that. And I think which maybe that's a shitty example, but by being open for them to come and talk to you about anything they experience is always important, because I feel that I don't ever want to shut that part of them out, because I feel they're really deeply connected the younger they are compared to our age. But still fresh, and I want them to be able to grow with that and not be closed out to the society's fucked up world of living.
Totally. Yeah, I do. I mean, with my stepson, I do similar things. Like, I've been kind of working with him and teaching him about it as well. Because when me and him first met, he was all this. I would ask him about, magic or fairies or something like that, and he'd be like, "Magic isn't real. Bigfoot isn't real," or whatever. But now, lately, he's been, wanting to go Bigfoot hunting. He tells me stories about fairies that he's seen, and he's actually been seeing things more that he acknowledges. Like, he told me he saw a miner ghost at Brittany's dad's house, and I thought that was really interesting, and talked to him about that. And but yeah,
I agree. I think like anything, to not kill their power, and I don't mean that in like a magic, like a Harry Potter sense, like, to not kill their power, because by us believing them and giving them that power that they can speak and tell us things like that, that it's going to help them grow into, not a good adult, but just grow into something where they, regardless of what situation it is, they have power over themselves and their beliefs and stuff,
Yeah, definitely.
My oldest doesn't think ghosts are real. He thinks I'm crazy. He actually asked my friend, "Is my mom crazy?" Because she was picking me up, and he asked her that. And she goes, "No, your mom's not crazy."
That's great.
But, but he has that, that's what he wants to believe, and that's what he wants to believe. I don't,
Yeah, I mean.
He's 14.
It's funny. I actually got... before we close out, I want to tell this little story, and then I'll let you tell everyone how to find your page and everything. But the other day, I've been getting a lot of prank phone calls, because like I have my number up on some website where people can search for residential teams, and I've gotten some legit cases out of it, but I get a lot of prank phone calls too. And these two teenagers called me, and I knew they were prank calling because they always call from other states. And and like by the end of the conversation, they were they had changed up their views, because I was kind of joking with them too. But then I was like, y'all are they were over in New Mexico or something. I was like, y'all are in like skinwalker territory and UFOs, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Like I've actually seen some stuff over there." And I was like, "See, it's not so crazy, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're right." And then we were cool by the end. It was just just some funny.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I have time, but I have like an interesting story that's kind of space related to my youngest daughter, how she came about, besides the actual obvious. But
yeah, definitely tell it.
So I have a couple friends who we were in some indigo groups with, anyhow, we were talking, and I kept seeing this boy, young boy, out in, like, outer space. And, you know, what you picture space to look like, stars and the black and the, you know, what space looks like. And I said, man, I keep seeing this boy every time I talk to you guys. I don't know if he's with you guys or going to come to you guys, you know, but I keep seeing him. And they go, oh, you know, they weren't really in relationships, but they would be totally down to have a kid, you know. And each time I talked to them, which I would talk to them, you know, a couple weeks would go by, and we would say, hey, how's everything going? And every time I talked to them, this boy would seem to get closer, but still in outer space. And I would kind of say something, and we would try to figure out who this boy is. You know, who's he? You know, who does he belong to? And long story short, I was taking a shower, and usually during my shower time is when I do like a little meditation and, you know, recharge my stuff. And I was washing my face, and I had opened up my eyes, and this boy was in my bathroom. And I was like, oh, shit, what the hell? You know? And so I told the guys, and, you know, they thought it was kind of weird and, like, what, you know, what's going on? Well, about a week later, I found out I was pregnant with my sixth baby, and it's really ironic because I was using girl protection, and my husband was using guy protection. So for us to get pregnant off of maybe the one time that month was just odd to me. And it was just weird how this boy kept moving closer and closer. But I saw him, like, in outer space. It was just strange to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, so a week later after he showed up in my bathroom, I found out I was pregnant. And when we did the sonogram to see if it was a boy or girl, it showed a girl. But her picture of her girl bit looked like a straight butterfly. And like, oh my gosh, that's so ironic to me. Because when my mom died, I didn't know God, or, you know, people would tell you to pray to God, but it never seemed right to me anyways. So I'd pray to butterflies. So for her lady bits to show up as butterflies, and just ever since then, I kept getting, like, all this nature stuff, and with the universe and on space and the butterfly thing, you know, it's just kind of ironic to me, so that's why she got a nature hippie name.
Wow. What's her name?
But Riverly Willow.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
But, yeah. But it was just kind of, like, ironic with the space thing and stuff, because I never had seen that before. And, you know, I've had a premonition of how the world ends. And again, I was kind of like out in space, and, you know, aliens, but they didn't look like, you know, your average alien on TV and stuff. But they were coming in to, like, the world. And, you know, I definitely believe in all that shit. So it was just kind of weird to me in a good way, or an interesting way.
Yeah,
so.
That's one of the, it really makes you think. I'm just trying to figure it out, like, what, you know, like, was that maybe some kind of, like, soul, like her soul, or some kind of, or I don't know, you know, who knows?
Yeah, no, I definitely think, well, funny thing is, I don't know exactly how, but I definitely think she was part of the fairies that we talked about, nature-related and out there. I definitely think that that's what brought her, and I think the boy brought her to us. You know, because I thought, oh my God, I'm pregnant with this boy that I seen.
Wow.
I was kind of freaked out for a while.
Yeah.
But then once we found out it was a girl, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, he brought her to us.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so it was just kind of a trip, you know.
Definitely. Yeah,
so.
it's got me thinking, definitely. Because, I mean, I've just heard similar stories and things like that about, you know, people who were on protection and they thought or even people who thought they couldn't get pregnant, and then having an experience like that and then getting pregnant.
Yeah,
it's very, very intriguing.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. but I definitely think that, she's part of the nature and universe, and it was just all, I don't know how to say it without, but it's cool.
No, I got you. I mean, I understand. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing all these awesome stories and theories and experiences, and it was awesome. Before we go, let everyone know how they can find your page and everything. I put the link in the description, but I let everyone just kind of tell it as well.
Yeah, it's under Chelsie Denee Medium. That's my business page, and then my personal is under Chelsie Denee. I do try to keep the two separate, but very hard because you are who you are. I'm a mom, and I see dead people, so.
Awesome.
But I appreciate you having me on, and I enjoy talking about this stuff. So I'm really happy I was able to come on.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and maybe someday we'll cross paths in IRL in real life on an investigation or something. Who knows?
Yeah, no, Jason had, I think, not on your last show, but I thought he was on another show. But he was talking about somewhere that he was working on where, he would have some paranormal people come and join him and stuff. I was actually trying to convince my husband to move to Ohio.
Nice.
And transfer there and stuff, but it's a wishful thought. I definitely, it's on my bucket list this year to travel and meet some of you cool people out there.
Yeah, they're great. I stayed with Jason, I guess 2 years ago, and we had a great time. I almost moved to Ohio myself, but then but now I'm still in Alabama. But I do love it here too. So, and I still visit Ohio.
Yeah. Well, keep an eye out for me. I mean, he's wanted to move to Missouri, so that's kind of close.
Yeah, definitely closer than California.
Yeah. Yeah, he just doesn't want the snow, but I'm like, it might be good for you. So, but awesome. Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, have a great night, and we'll definitely do this again sometime. And thanks again for coming on. Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And before you go, we always try to ask the guests to do a wolf howl if you got one in you. If not, it's cool. Oh, that was great.
I woke up my kids, but
sorry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Have a great night.
All right. You too. All right, bye.
All right, bye. All right, everyone. That was Chelsie Denee, psychic medium, empath, and certified investigator. That was an awesome show. We definitely covered some topics I don't think we have gone into before. Like, we usually normally do that during every show. That's why, once again, I say this like every time, but that's one reason I love doing this show, is because, we get to talk to different people every time who have, sometimes similar experiences, sometimes different experiences, all kinds of different theories and opinions, and it's just awesome to kind of hear all their experiences and opinions, and in a judgment-free zone where we can just talk about this stuff, because this is the stuff that we love, and the stuff that we want to learn more about. So that's why I do this. The show is awesome because of the guests, and I want to give a huge shout out to Chelsie Denee for coming on and telling us some of these stories and things. So let's see. Next week's going to be a good one as well, guys. Next week we've got, I hope I say his name right, Alexander Pedikov. Petikov of Small Town Monsters. He did the work on the In Search of Champ documentary miniseries, which, if you haven't seen that, it's awesome. The Lake Champlain Monster. We're going to be talking about that. His Bigfoot work. All kinds of stuff going into the cryptids side of things. So that's going to be awesome for next week. And then after that, we've got, I believe the next show is going to be my friends from Tarak Chronicles, which are some of my urban exploration friends, which that one will go into a kind of a different direction. As opposed to paranormal, we'll be talking more about urban exploration, some of the experiences they've had doing that, and I'll tell some of my stories as well, because it gets kind of crazy sometimes when you're out there exploring abandoned locations. And we will get into a little bit into the paranormal, because they do have some experiences themselves that they've been having. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks to Chelsie Denee for coming on and being our guest tonight. As I said at the beginning, our documentary Madhouse will be out April 20th, 2019. We will have more details on where it will be out and how you can watch it, and soon coming trailers and all kinds of promo material for that. So be on the lookout. I'll see you guys very soon. There should be some new videos on the way. I've got a few projects I'm working on, as well as working on some stuff with the new J's box I got, as you guys might have seen in the last live stream. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope everyone had a safe and awesome New Year's Eve, and I hope the new year is going great for everyone. I actually almost forgot that it was the new year already. But it's only the 2nd. We got plenty of time. All right. I'm going to go now, guys, but I will see you guys soon. Let's do a live stream soon. Maybe this weekend. I'm setting aside a day soon here for filming and exploring and hopefully live streaming. So anyway, guys, thanks you guys for listening. Thanks to Chelsie Denee for coming on and talking. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday, the podcast. Alexander Petikov, I hope I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. Small Town Monsters next week. All right. Happy New Year.